This influencer wannabe is currently going viral for trying to expose a police officer by shaming her and blasting her all over social media, thinking that people would side with him because of how most police officers have the reputation of being power-tripping pigs. But unfortunately for him, he's the one being roasted for being a dirty hog.
Bonjour.
Ouais, tu m'as pourquoi?
Pour tes vides teintées.
Sale pute de merde, tu m'as entendu tout le long là-bas, sale pute.
Now you're probably thinking to yourself, why the fuck is this guy talking like a Sims character? Why is he not speaking the American English? Well, that would be because this donkey is actually from my hometown, which is the main reason as to why I'm covering this situation in the first place. But this failed abortion is going so viral that even journalists outside of Canada are starting to cover this story. And to be clear, when I say journalists, I'm talking about people LARPing as journalists on X, but they're collectively bringing mainstream attention to this situation. Don't you worry, guys, because I do in fact speak the XQC Sims language.
Oh, double barrel shotgun, is that good?
What?
Double barrel shotgun, is that good?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
AKA French from Quebec. So I'll be providing some live translations as we cover this influencer tard who clearly suffers from main character syndrome. Now I know there's a version of the video with subtitles, but I'm pretty sure those subtitles are AI generated. I mean, at one point they start talking about poutine, which is a signature dish from Quebec, and yet the subtitles are out there talking about the president of Russia for some reason. And to be fair, there are a lot of Quebec slangs and slangs born from our multiculturalism that AI is just not gonna get. So the video begins with the classic, "Why are you pulling me over?"
Bonjour.
Ouais, tu m'as pourquoi?
Pour tes vides teintées.
So this is something the AI subtitles didn't quite catch, but the police officer immediately replies with, "Well, it's because of your tinted windows." But now this pig, and when I say pig, ironically enough, I'm not talking about the cup here, but the scumbag influencer instead, well, he instantly starts crashing out and starts dishing 20 insults, 20 curse words at the police officer, as if he's an 8-year-old kid who just learned how to swear and thinks that cursing makes him look cool.
Sale pute de merde, tu m'as entendu tout le long là-bas, sale pute. Et quand tu sortis, t'es venu m'arrêter.
Non, je suis là puis j'attends tout.
Ferme ta gueule, sale pute, tu m'as entendu.
When in reality, swearing like this just makes him look like a 30-year-old bum who peaked in high school but somehow still doesn't have his GED. But here's where things get funny, guys.
Je suis sorti, tu m'as arrêté, petite pute, avec ta tête de chienne de merde.
One of the countless insults that this guy threw at the police officer in a span of 2 seconds is him calling the police officer a tête de chienne. But in English, this is him telling the police officer that she's got the face of a dog. Now, I personally find that insult of his to be particularly hilarious, because this influencer wannabe who aspires to be a public figure and who apparently had an account with 100k followers, which got banned to no one's surprise, well, he actually used to post face cam videos, but he later panicked and decided to delete all of them a few days ago when he went viral for berating that police officer. But here's the thing, guys. As you guys know, whatever you post on the internet stays on the internet. But believe me when I say that I've never seen a better example of projecting in my entire life, because this is what Mr. Fapstar, or Frapstar, excuse me, looks like in real life. Okay, first of all, did this guy ask the barber for the ramen noodle haircut? Because what the f is this cut, G? But the fact that this potato head unironically took this video on his Snapchat, like thinking that people would enjoy his haircut, like he's out there flexing his cut. Like, look at this, like he unironically thinks he looks good. Brother, you shave that gut and you put it on a boiling pot and you've got an instant ramen noodle meal ready to go. And secondly, you know how there are those influencers who are into looks maxing, like that influencer called testicular or clavicular? Well, I'm gonna be brutally honest here, guys, but I generally feel like this Fapstar guy is into chop maxing instead. Smash like and subscribe if this chop bum is the leader of the chop maxing movement. But remember, this is the same guy who said that this police officer is a 304, a bop, a bitch, a slut, and called her a bunch of other insults in the span of like 2 seconds, on top of saying that she has the face of a dog. When in reality, brother, you literally look like Mr. Potato Head. Minus the hat, but with ramen on top of your head instead. And is it just me, or is he trying to do the wrist face here? Oh, hell nah, never do that face ever again. You just end up looking mentally challenged. Mouth-breathing bum? Well, let me give you some crucial context as to what kind of influencer tar the Fapstar is. Fapstar is your typical nuisance streamer or influencer who suffers from main character syndrome and who views anyone but himself as an NPC. Literally. And you've got videos of him harassing random citizens while putting the funny NPC caption on his TikToks.
Yo, ferme ta gueule, bro! On essaie de dormir! Fils de pute! Ferme ta gueule, G! Arrête de jouer de la musique, on essaie de dormir! Et puis ici, on essaie de dormir ici, arrête de jouer de la musique! Bon, on essaye de dormir! Des colis! Bon, d'imbéciles, là, on essaie de dormir!
In a clip that you just saw, Fapstar is out there screaming at everyone outside to shut up. He's screaming at the musician to stop playing. He's calling him a son of a bop. But he's doing so because he's trying to sleep. But at the end of the video, if you listen carefully, you can hear an old grandma saying, "Hey, it's only 7 p.m.
Des colis! Bon, d'imbéciles, là, on essaie de dormir!
And look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to sleep at 7 p.m., but the least you can do is not rent an Airbnb in a busy street. It's like me renting an Airbnb, renting an apartment next to an airport, and then crashing out whenever there's an airplane flying over and waking me up. You did this yourself. But we're talking about an influencer who views everyone else but himself as an NPC, as content. So 100% he's just trying to instigate, he's just rage baiting and trying to get a reaction. But I was not even exaggerating one bit when I said that this guy really thinks that he's the main character, to the point where he's literally farming people at the lowest point of their lives, aka homeless mentally ill crack addicts. While Fapstar's got no problem treating them as nothing more but content for his page.
Combo, tu veux que je fasse quoi avec toi, là? Depuis tout à l'heure, tu me suis, je sors de la voiture, tu me suis. Tu veux que je fasse quoi avec toi? Je suis censé faire quoi, là? Ah, mais bro, mais Andy, qu'est-ce que tu comprends pas, mais Andy? Pourquoi tu fais des bails comme ça, bro? Mais Andy, arrête de t'approcher de moi, G.
So in this clip, we can see Frapstar farming someone who's clearly mentally unwell, who can barely speak, who's jittery. I mean, you see him shaking like that. I mean, he looks like he's one epileptic attack from seeing the next Juice WRLD concert, and yet Frapstar is farming him for views. And look, this is not gonna be a moral grandstanding segment where I said that Frapstar should have donated $5 to the homeless guy. Like, no, if you don't want to donate, all good. Just walk away. It costs nothing to not be a piece of crap. But I'm sick and tired of these clout-chasing influencer tards like Frapstar who bring nothing of value to our society but who view anyone but themselves as potential content, to the point where they're now farming homeless people. And yes, even this homeless guy is bringing more value to our society than Frapstar, because at least he's pooping outside next to plants and keeping them fertilized, whereas Fapstar is just making me not want to eat ramen ever again. Let's go back to the clip of Fapstar harassing the police officer, because it gets much worse.
Bande de fils de pute de merde, là. Casse les couilles, sale chienne, c'est de ma faute, tu fais $20 de l'heure? Est-ce que c'est de ma faute, tu fais $20 de l'heure? Est-ce que c'est de ma faute si je suis plus riche que toi? Est-ce que c'est de ma faute si je veux, je t'achète là et je te mets en esclavage? T'es mon esclave, genre si je veux, t'es mon esclave.
Wow, this bum is just repulsive, mentally and physically. Because not only is he out there calling the cop a dirty bitch 20 times in a row in a span of 5 seconds, but he's also trying to flex his wealth, I guess, by saying, oh, I'm so rich, I could buy you right now and turn you into my slave. Which is just insane to say. And look, I'm all for crashing out, okay? If you get pulled over for no reason, if you're facing a cop who's clearly power tripping, go ahead and crash out. But here's the thing, guys. The reason as to why this influencer tart is getting roasted by everyone on the internet is because he decided to insult one of the rare cops who showed nothing but professionalism towards him. At no point whatsoever did she throw any snarky smartass comments at him that you see cops on a power trip do all the time, and she was never acting like a Karen towards him. In fact, the police officer even gave him the benefit of the doubt by saying, you know what, let's run it with a test. Maybe you're right, maybe your tinted windows are under the legal limit. But of course, to no one's surprise, the results showed that the tint of his windows were clearly over the legal limit. But here's the funny part. Chopstar knew that he was in the wrong. He knew that he was breaking the law, because he even tells the police officer that, hey, I already got a fine 2 days ago for my tinted windows. So why are you being a bitch?
Si je veux, t'es mon esclave. Sale chienne de merde.
T'as dit 17?
Mais sale pute, j'ai eu un ticket pour ça il y a 2 jours.
Est-ce que je peux avoir ton permis de conduire, ton numéro de circulation?
Mais j'ai eu un ticket pour ça il y a 2 jours. Tu vas me redonner un autre ticket?
C'était pas moi qui te l'ai donné il y a 2 jours.
Sale pute.
At multiple points in the video, you can clearly see the cop being speechless, to the point where I don't know if they're like Fapstar defenders or whatever, but I've seen some people in the comments saying stuff like, oh yeah, this cop needs to be fired. This is why being a cop, it's a man's job. She doesn't have any balls. And it's like, no, I genuinely feel like she was speechless, not because she was insulted and she was like shook, but she was most likely speechless because she was shook at how mentally challenged Fapstar is. This mouth-breathing bum is really going ahead by saying, oh, I've already got a ticket 2 days ago, so why are you giving me another one? And it's like the cop said, confounded by his stupidity, even she replies with, so what? I'm not the one who gave you that first ticket. Anyone who's gotten pulled over or fined for a broken taillight knows that you just fix it or risk getting fined again. So I don't know why this guy starts insulting her 50 times in a row and going as far as to threaten her with slavery when he knows he's in the wrong. Wait a second, I lied. I know why Fapstar's doing all of this. It's this guy's whole shtick. He literally goes ahead and purposely breaks the law over and over again so that he can get pulled over just so that he can insult cops. For example, he'll rev his engine in a quiet neighborhood very early in the morning like a typical douchebag just to get pulled over and issued a warning just to do it again in front of the cop.
Ouais, vous avez pas compris, hein? Je vous ai averti une première fois de ne pas faire révolutionner votre moteur. Mais vous êtes parti, vous avez fait révolutionner votre moteur à 2 reprises, je vous ai entendu. Ça va prendre votre permis de conduire.
Now you might be asking yourself, wait, Fader, you just said that he doesn't contribute anything to our society, so how is he so rich? Well, that would be because he's one of those amazing influencers who yoink other people's money by doing crypto scams. And I really love how he's using his crypto scam branding to hide his face in this video here. It would be a shame, a very big shame, if you were to go so viral that even the news stations in my city are starting to blast your face all over the internet. Hey, he wanted to be an influencer tard? Dreams do come true, I guess.
Sale chienne, ferme ta gueule, sale pute. Ferme ta gueule, tu vérifies ton fucking bail. Pourquoi tu me dis ça, meuf? Tu m'as fait du profilage racial, tu m'as attendu tout le long au fucking
J'ai
parking.
même pas vu c'est qui
Ferme ta gueule, sale pute.
You can't make this up! This guy is even pulling the classic "you're racial profiling me" card! You freaking lobotomized victim. Brother, you just said that you've got tinted windows! She wouldn't even know what you look like! That's the whole reason why you got pulled over in the first place! Even the police officer tells him in French, je ne savais même pas c'est qui conduisait.
J'ai même pas vu c'est qui
Ferme ta gueule, sale pute.
She's telling him, bro, I couldn't even see who was driving. And because Mr. Potato Head instantly knows that he got cooked by the police officer, he instantly replies with, "Shut your ass up," like the chub beta cuck that he really is. Smash like and subscribe if you also don't want to eat ramen anymore.
Money, 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 money.